I got assigned as a mess hall truck driver, and my duties were to pick up ice. They were 200-pound slabs of ice, like a long popsicle, and we had to go to the ice house, and I would remember grabbing them tongs and pulling them big, they were 6 feet long hunks of ice, kind of trapezoidal in shape, and then it would go between my legs and into my deuce-and-a-half truck. After I picked up the ice, I went back. My other duties was to pick up fresh water for our base camp, and it was just a big tanker trailer, and I think it held 500 gallons. And I used to fill that up with fresh water, bring that back, and there were spigots on there. People could fill their canteens with them, or we could use it in the big pails for our cooking facilities and for doing the dishes. Then part of the day I would go out and pick up food supplies at the commissary, as you will, where they had bins, and I gave the paperwork to the person, and they said, okay, you get 10 cases of peas and 10 cases of this, and right down the line, and then I had a KP helping me throw it on the truck, and then I delivered that to the area where we were at the Reliable Academy base camp. And then after the end of the day, I would have to take garbage to the dump. After the mess hall was all done dumping their garbage in 55-gallon drums, we would get some KPs, and I helped them once in a while, lifting up these 55-gallon drums of used gravy and old oranges or something that was spoiled, that was in the garbage cans, and I took that out to the dump. Outside our base camp there was a big ditch, and all the local camps would dump their garbage there, and I would drive into the pit, as you will, and when I turned around there was Vietnamese people, men and women, jumping on the canvas and latching on like monkeys and swinging their legs up into the back of my truck while I'm rolling along at 4 or 5 miles an hour. I slowed down for them, and their arms are in up as far as their armpits, reaching for chunks of apples or spoiled oranges with fuzz on them or whatever. They were, hungry, and they would take it and put it in their sandbags. That, you know what a sandbag is, everybody I think should know that, and they had some fresh clean ones, and they were stuffing that stuff in to take groceries home for the evening meal. And then I would back up to the point where I was supposed to stop, and then open my tailgate. I let it down, and then they would tip it into their fellow man down in the pit, and it would just run down their bodies, because the tailgate would be about this high, and they would tip it, and then they would be grabbing for any hunks and stuffing it into, while all the other garbage is running down their body. And they only had these panties on anyway, because they didn't need long pants or anything. And they were taking that food, stuffing it in there, and then they tipped the barrels up, and then I would drive back to the base camp. And then I think every third day or something, I'm not sure about that anymore, I would serve hot food to the troops that were on patrol around the perimeter of our base camp. And then we were the original tailgaters, because since I had the food handler certificate, I would take the main course, which was maybe, like I say, the roast beef or whatever might be on there, and serve the food off the tailgate. Let the chains down to hold the tailgate, and then line everything up. The troops would come past, and then I would serve the main course, and then we had KPs to serve the potatoes and whatever left was on there. And then when my tour was complete, when my tour of duty was completed and I was taking my last ride to the airport, I thought of my year as a cook and how the mess hall changed from a tent that we were living in to a nice wooden building with screens to keep out the bugs. And when I was a truck driver, the roads were only one lane, barely wide enough for 2 trucks to come by. And oncoming traffic, we would have to pull over to the shoulder because our mirrors would hit from one deuce and a half to the next, so that they wouldn't smash into each other's mirror when they were going there. So then that was when I came in. We were pulling off on a shoulder, and we were scared because the branches were hitting the mirrors then when we were pulling in along that 1-lane road. Actually only 2 lanes, one going each way. This made us very nervous because the jungle was so thick that the enemy would be right there waiting to throw a grenade under the truck at any given time when we were cruising. And on this final trip,
Yeah,
I was
we're
so
at the
impressed
end.
of how the jungle was pushed back about 2 blocks on either side of the road, and the highway had 2 lanes
give the
going
jingle, 'cause
both
we gotta
directions.
walk as far as
Blacktop.
this 10, 15
What a
minutes
difference a
walk
year
back there.
makes. So that's my story. Take care.
Good
Thank you.
story.
God bless us
Yeah,
all.
we went to the eatery.